Hey, hi everyone. Good evening, guys. Good evening to everyone. Hi, Urban. Hi, Gaurav. Guys, am I audible and visible to you all? Can you let me know, please, guys? Good evening, Sanket. Yes, Sanket, we will do the introductory part first because many students are new to this boot camp or to the Let's Upgrade platform. So they don't know the process and everything. So, yes, we will take 10 minutes first, then we will start with the session. Okay. Hi, Varshini. Sumit, I am not a tutor. Uh, Gaurav Deep sir is the trainer for this boot camp. He will guide you. Okay, guys, am I audible and visible to you all? Can you let me know, please? Can I get a thumbs up or something in the chat? Yes. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you. So, guys, I will share my screen now, and we'll go with the. I hope my screen is visible to you all. Hello, good evening, Jyoti. Guys, is my screen is visible? Can you please let me know once again? Yeah. Okay. So guys, please have a look on the screen now. Here we have all-in-one documentation. So when you click on this link, a document will open where you can find all the links to since there is an attendance procedure for this boot camp, and by marking your attendance you will be like you can download your certificate. So it's necessary, it's important that you mark your attendance daily. And when you open this doc, here you can find this short doc link, and here is the enrollment and attendance link. The link for everything is same, one link, as everything is placed at one place, so we call this link as one link. Okay, and when you click on this link, a page will open, another page where you need to first of all enroll for the program. If you're a new user, new to LU, then you need to enroll first, then scroll down the page. Here below the day one title, you can see market and struggle. Click on it. A rating scale will open from 1 to 10. You can rate the session according to your feedback, your experience, how much you would like to rate. And for now I will give 10 on 10. And here is a feedback option. If you have any feedback for us, be it positive, negative, or if you want something to be improved from our end, you can freely put it here. The team will surely work on it. And I will suggest that please guys put like mark your attendance post session, so that you will be able to give the honest rating here and honest feedback, and it will also help us to work on it. Okay, so after that, click on this mark attendance toggle, and you can see this icon has turned into blue. So this happened when you mark your attendance. Okay, and again when you scroll up the page, here you can see progress bar. It has increased to 33% now, and day wise it will increase, and by day 3 it will be 100%. Okay, so make sure that you for getting the certificate you need to mark your attendance daily, and before downloading the certificate. Okay, now how you will be getting your certificate. So every day when you mark your attendance, by day 3 after 8 p.m., that is when this program will get at end. After 8 p.m., you will be getting to see generate certification option right below this progress bar. But there is a twist. Like before download, to download your certificate, you will need to pass a test. The test will contain 10 questions, and out of which you will have to like put the 7 correct. Okay, now the questions will be all from this boot camp. Like whatever we will teach you, that questions will be only there. No external questions will be there. So please make sure that you attend all the sessions, learn the things, learn the topics. If you have any question, you can ask the guide. He will help you, and yeah, you can then clear it, pass your test, and download your certificate. Okay. I hope I'm clear till here. If you guys have any queries related to the attendance, how to mark your attendance, you can just rewind the video. Since it is a one-time process, I cannot undo it and remark my attendance. Okay, so please, guys, do rewind the video if you have any questions related to that. Okay, and if you If you want to get daily updates, daily reminders, or upcoming bootcamps notification from our end, or if and also anything, any information from our end, you can join our communities here. You can find WhatsApp and Discord link. When you click on this icon, you can join to our communities where you will be staying tuned with us. Okay. And when we come back to this all-in-one doc, you will see the session links are there. Okay, I need to will add the day 3 as well here now. And here is the notes page, like what are the things we are going to learn in this 3 days of boot camp, and what are the topics are going to be covered on which day. So you will be like along with us in the loop. So yeah, you will be also getting to know the things here. Okay. And if sir shares any of the resources, any ppt file, anything, we will upload all the documents here. Like anything is there, we will upload all the things in this all-in-one doc. So please guys, make sure that you save this all-in-one doc link. The link will be pinned in the chat shortly, and also you can find it in the description. Okay, I hope it's clear now. Guys, can you please give me a like any reaction in the chat, or yes or no, please? And guys, please be active in the chat. If you have any queries, you can ask us in the chat. That the trainer or the moderator will ask like address all your queries. Okay. Okay, guys. Now we have this student ambassador program. Here is the link. Again, the link is there in the description. And when you click on that link, a page will open where you can find all the information about this program. It is a free 1 month program. You don't have to pay any charge, any cost for the program. Even during the program, you don't have to pay anything for any cost for anything. The next batch is starting from 1st of September. You will be getting to see the apply now button. When you click on that button, you will have to fill a form, and for the selection process, our team will reach out to you by 31st of August. So then you will be getting the then you will get the confirmation about the selection. Okay. And these are the milestones that you need to achieve. Of course, there are certain targets that you need to achieve to unlock this milestone, and based on that, here are the prizes that we give away. And if you want to know more about this program, if you want to know more about our winners, previous winners, and or anything, you can just check out our social media handles. Okay. So yeah, that was it about the all-in-one doc and SAP program. Anyone can apply for this, Vaishnavi. The selection, there is our team will get back to you if there is anything. Okay. Now my part is done, guys. I will call the trainer, and we'll start with the session now. Hi, sir. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, Anam.
So how are you, sir?
All good, all good. I hope you're good too.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm also good. So we can start with the session, sir. I will take a leave and hand over the session to you. Okay. So
Sure,
thank
sure.
you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
All right. We are live. Let me see. Good evening to all of you. Right, Vishnu, if you need any more details on that 1 month program, I think you can connect to the Let's Upgrade team. They will definitely give you a lot of information about what the program is all about. Okay, you can definitely talk about it. Cool. So, hi Bhakti, hi Danap, hi Vaishnavi, hi everyone. Hello, Tam. I'm so happy that I got this opportunity to discuss these things with you. It's really interesting. Gen AI is in itself so interesting, and the thing that we're talking about, RAG, has a big hype in the market going around here, right? And just to start off this session with, let me tell you that the project that we are doing today, the kind of boot camp that we are running into today, uh, we have built something similar in my work life. Okay, we have built these solutions for many legal, pharmaceutical, manufacturing plants, which are uh, big solutions. Okay, I'm talking about for companies like Deloitte, companies like my own, and for the big companies I can talk about that we have ventured around. And I've seen solutions that are actually industry level solutions, and this is what we are delivering since last year. So I'm totally talking about real world experience, real world practical applications. Okay, this is no more like a typical textbook advantages and disadvantages where or applications that I give you, right? These are bleeding edge 2024 2025 projects which we have delivered with money. Okay, these projects have costed many fold amounts and money, and they are useful. The platforms are live that these big giants are consuming. It's all about the document compliance. Okay, so not at all you can say your pet project. It could be the way we are doing it, it is a pet project, but this is real. It has real potential in the market. Okay, you can actually build a startup around with this idea, and people have built startup around with this idea, and it's doing great for them. So that's just for the starters. Okay, I see many people interacting here, and yeah, nice to see you again. Nice to see you all people again too, right? uh, I really enjoy communicating with the young talent. Okay, especially for the people who are just graduating. They are putting their foot into the market, trying to understand how they can enter this the world of IT, the world of AI. And I'm more than happy to talk out through all your doubts, through all your guidance that you might need, or whatever is in my capacity that I can deliver to you, right? So that's interesting. And I see many of you are active in the chat. Let's keep it like that. Now, let us not waste any further time. I know the first 15 minutes have been not utilized as per your choice, but now let us go there, right? So let us talk about the agenda. So we have a 3-day boot camp, okay? In order to complete this bootcamp, you will need a little bit idea of how Python works. When I say a little bit of idea, I will try to make the code little cleaner. I will use libraries like typing, and I'll use libraries which can help us write a data class. I'll explain you what these libraries are. You can quickly upskill with that. Okay, your Python, the way you write Python code, you will quickly upskill that. Okay, we'll write cleaner and more industry standard codes. Okay, along with that, we will also upgrade our learning. We will try to utilize a UV, which is you can say Python package manager. You can say the new pip of 2024 2025. Okay, I'll explain you how these things work. Okay, so first of all, to develop any kind of a project, be it as simple as printing hello world, I recommend that you build a habit of creating a virtual environment every time. Now, do mind that virtual environments, if installed with a lot of hefty libraries, would consume a lot of space in your laptop if you're doing it. Not just for one or two projects. It's not at all a problem. The problem is, suppose I have 15, 20 projects running in my laptop, and if I'm not using 10, 15 projects, I'm just using 2, 3 at the time. It's good habit that you can also delete your virtual environments if you retain your requirements.txt. Okay, I'll also explain you what these things do. So I'll assume that the audience here, they will know what libraries in Python are. Like you might have used any of the library. Could be a math built-in library like math. Could be pandas, NumPy. Could be any library. Could be a request libraries, beautiful soup library for scraping data, or any kind of a library, right? The point is to build any project, we might need few libraries on top of which we are building it. Okay, yeah, people with the MERN background can also understand that there are many packages in Node that we use, right? So we have to maintain a virtual library around it, right? Yeah, SciPy could be another thing that Vishnu is mentioning. So the better idea is that we create a separate virtual environment. It's like creating your own virtual space, not interacting with your global operating system, but to keep your Python and the management separate from the global installation. We use virtual environments, right? Now, in order to create something like that, whatever IDE you are using, I think the most popular ones are PyCharm, VS Code, or maybe a Surfer, or few of other you can say agentic IDs you can use. The point is that you need to first of all start up a terminal in the IDE, right? So Vaishnav is asking, so will you teach the process of setup and installation? Yes, I'll go into all the depths. Don't worry. Okay, or Eclipse or whatever IDE you're using. So in order to start the terminal on on my VS Code, I just need to do Control Shift tilde, which is the button right below the escape to the left of the numeric 1, or you could also go to the file, click on new and terminal, okay? Right over here, terminal, new terminal. And this is the shortcut I'm talking about, control shift tilde, okay? If you click on it, you will get this virtual environment over here, okay? Let me deactivate it once. As soon as I deactivate it, for the people who do not have, let me try to enlarge this a little bit, okay? For people who do not have, how do I put it? The UV, the package manager with you. We just simply say UV dash dash version. If you do not have this, you might have pip with you. Okay, so you can check with the pip. If you have pip, fine enough. Okay, you just need to create a virtual environment. So if you are planning to use pip, the command would be python dash make venv.venv. Okay, as soon as you hit this, you will realize in your file browser you will get this folder, something like this. Okay, I'll not hit this command because I have it, but if I click venv2 and I hit enter, you will realize that this folder is created. Okay, no, I do not want to use this virtual environment. Okay, it is still creating. It might take few seconds or maybe a minute to the max to do it. Can you code in Eclipse? Not for now because I do not have Eclipse with me. Okay, and all the IDs are same ID. Do not bother. Okay, it's like can you use maybe not Samsung but Motorola to explain how Android works? No worries, you can use any of the ID. Now let me just do rm-r.bnb since I don't need it anymore. Okay, but that's the way how you can create virtual environment. Whereas if you have UV installed, you just need to do UV venv. As soon as you hit enter, okay, actually the command is venv. As soon as you hit that command, you will get this .venv folder created right over here, right? Now, once you have it, for people using Mac or Ubuntu, you might have to write this word source before it and then do .venv. You will have to go in bin and then you'll have to do the activate. Okay, but for the people who are using Windows, you just need to type .venv. Inside that, your folder is scripts. So st is a script you have to type. You have to type activate. Okay, as soon as you hit enter, you will realize that your virtual environment is activated. Okay, uh, but luckily we won't be using terminals to do the task. We will be using Jupyter notebooks, since those will be more handy. In a way, I can write theory part with you. I can give you the code right over there. I can give you small snippets to digest at a time. Okay, so but in real world, this is a good practice to always start the code with. Okay, remember we will need a virtual environment, and in fact for the Jupyter notebook also I will be using virtual environment only. Okay, but not through the terminal, through the IDE. Okay, uh, cool. Now, with that being said, let us talk about day one, module one. And if you're wondering, will I be providing you some sort of code? Yes, not some code, but entire code. Day one, each and every folder file, the env sample, even with the requirements file, which I have not created yet, I'll give you everything all together. Okay. In fact, let me just quickly create an environment file. So what happens is, suppose when we have installed a few things, okay, we have installed a few things into our virtual environment. What we can do is we can do pip freeze and create a requirements.txt file, which will store whatever is needed to create this virtual environment. Okay, so if you see, I have run this command, and these are the libraries uh, which are needed to run this project. Okay, if you see, we are using Google Generative AI library. Also, we are using many of the important libraries. Okay, LangChain is some part of it. We are using OpenAI agents, which might not be needed. I think I might have created something. I might have used a wrong pip to create it, but I'll make sure that I give you the correct requirement.txt. Okay. For now, let me remove requirements.txt, clear, and close. But yes, you will be getting all of them. Now, let us jump into module one. Okay, let me just restart so that when you start this terminal, this is how you will get it. Okay, and cool. I think this is where we are. Let me go on the very top. The idea, what is this 3 days bootcamp all about? It is about creating a document AI, which is more like we create an intelligent chatbot which can talk to your documents, which has a lot of common real world applications. I'll tell you how we are using it. Lawyers can use it to run through a PDF or a document and do question answering on top of it. Okay, that what is this case all about? So that OpenAI can read that document and then give you a summary maybe on top of it. Some people can use it as compliance. That this is the regulatory document. This is the book of law, and this is my plan of action. Am I breaking any law? So the large language model or your ChatGPT or your Gemini or your Grok or any such LLM could be the thing which can consume this input, okay, and do the comparison analysis for you and give you the answer on top of it. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, voice is not clear. Is it individual case, or can people do let me know in comment if my voice is not clear for many of you? Okay, let me know that in comments. Now, with that being said, the idea is that we will be creating this flow. Okay. Now, maybe if you have to do it in real world, you will need things like, first of all, you will need any large language model to begin with, okay, which could be paid or open source. If you're going for open source, I will recommend to try it out from Hugging Face or from the platform uh, such as what do you call it? I think Opeak. No, I just forgot the name. I use it in fact on a daily basis. Okay, uh, let me check if I still remember it. Sometimes it can happen. We could be stuck. Okay, all right. Let me just search. So I have this very typical habit of Olama. Sorry, Olama. I have a bad habit of forgetting names at some point, and then I cannot remember it as much as I put effort on. But yeah, Olama is the platform that we can think about, or Hugging Face. These are the two of the industry standard platforms which can be used for open source models, such as Llama, such as Mistral. And many more. Okay, even from Microsoft 5 model, we can use the Gemini has Gamma models. We can use Gamma models on top of it. Okay, and so on. But if you're going for paid APIs, such as could be Grok, could be Gemini, could be the OpenAI itself, right? Then we can use even the API support on top of it. There's a third way to integrate your large language models that would be LLM as a service. Nowadays, GCP and AWS and many other cloud platforms do provide large language models as a service. Okay, so AWS has a very interesting library. It has thousands of different LLMs as a service, so we can also directly consume from them. In fact, it is much cheaper uh, to consume from them rather than hosting our own LLM. Okay, so that's the idea. You will need an LLM, then you will need a framework that can help you write code on top of this, right? So LangChain is kind of a library, a kind of a package which can help you write agentic code. Okay, could be related to your LLMs, could be chat completions, could be function calling, could be prompt designing, could be agent designing or using any agents or designing any agentic structure or working around with large language models. LangChain has a plethora of use cases. LangChain has abundance of features which are very useful in our use case. Okay, so something like LangChain will be required. Then what exactly is a vector space? What do we mean by that? Okay, so remember that as humans, we have developed a natural language for communication. Like for an example, there are at least 150 plus people here with us. Okay, we all might have varying mother tongue. Okay, some might speak Punjabi, some might speak Hindi, some might speak Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, whatnot, right? There's a lot of diversification in which we can communicate, but at the end, if we have to communicate to each other, we need to have one uh, common language which we both can understand, or at least a translation in between that layer, right? But still, this is natural language. When it comes to computers, computers do not have any built-in support even to understand ABCD of our languages. Okay, they do not. All they understand is binary, ones and zero. Okay, so in order to make things compatible to the computer, we have to convert everything into binary digits. okay, which is where you might now start to think, okay, that is why we use 11000101 as a way to represent character A, okay, in 8 bits or something like that. Oh, now with that being said, the idea is that vector space are used to convert all your characters, words into tokens, which are nothing but this digital space of vectors. Okay, like for an example, you understand the concept of vectors. It is nothing but it represents magnitude as well as direction. Okay, so your words like king, male, crown, these are so much common to each other that in a vector space we will keep these binary digits together somewhere, okay, whereas queen or a gown would be more near to a word like female, okay, some words which are more commonly tangible to each other, okay, so that's the idea. So Mega in comments is asking us, you is giving us an error. Can you elaborate that what kind of error it is, if I can help you with that, okay? So with that being said, so the idea of vector space is that it keeps words which are similar to each other. In a sense, it will read each and every document. See, what will happen is it will start with random vector space allocation. Okay, a hi, how are you? I am doing good. Each word will be randomly given a unique ID. Okay, hi will be given unique ID, and the next time we see hi, it will be used as a duplicate ID to put it in the same space. Now in the document, it will start reading things like, hi, how are you? Hi, I am good. How are you doing? It will realize that hi and how are very nearby to each other. Many times the computer will start realizing that hi and how are very much used together. So in the vector space, what will happen is their position in the space will become closer to each other. So the more and more the documents it reads, suppose I am just talking about a single paragraph or a single page. Imagine reading the entire library of books on of all domains. In that, it is much possible that king and crown, king and alpha, king and male, king and man, these words will be very close to each other. So by reading thousands and crores of word, you will realize that these things will come together to each other in a vector space, and this is how we will create a virtual space in which we will start finding similar meanings to each other. Okay, this is how the synonyms and acronyms work. How do we find similar words to each other? We use a vector space. So Facebook has developed a quick solution which works on in RAM memory. Okay, so FAS is one of that vector DB, vector database that we will be using for now, and FAS is really good for quick development. And later on, you can use some more production ready databases because FAS, remember I told you, it loads in your RAM. So for an example, if you have a 8 GB RAM and you just have maybe 1.5 GB of space left with you, so if your vector memory is more than that, your system will run out of memory. So FAIR is good for a small test, maybe an MVP product, maybe to do some POC or maybe to do some pet project. But when it comes to production grade, we might switch to something like maybe a MongoDB vector space, maybe a PostgreSQL vector space, or maybe some more professional dedicated products like Pinecone, Viviat, TypeSense. Okay, these are all vector databases that might be really useful. Okay. Okay. Let me just quickly go through if there are any questions that I might be missing. I'm receiving these live sessions. Yes, I am actually live over here. Okay. So can we have recorded sessions after? You always have recorded sessions. YouTube Lives never goes anywhere. You can come back, try to find this session, you will get it. Can you share basic information of RAG here as we are using vectors? Yes, I think I'm on it. Okay. But it's there in the white. All right. All right. Yes. So now with that being said, why do we need things like Tesseract, especially for document AI? You will soon realize that documents are not only about text. Sometimes documents could have scanned copies, or they would have images, they would have graphs, they would have so many things. So we need optical character recognition or OCR on top of it, which might help us extract text from images. Okay. Remember again, image is not a textual data. Image is more like you can say a non-organized data, okay, which we have to extract structure from. We have to extract text out of it, okay. So that's the idea. That's how we will be doing it, and we will just try to give you some high-level idea of how this entire end-to-end process is supposed to be. Now, Ravindra needs a quick idea about what RAG is all about. So it is retrieval augmented generation. What does it mean? Okay. So first of all, Ravindra, imagine that I created a large language model such as GPT 3.5. Okay. Now, when I created it, what I did it, I used all the information on the internet starting from 1990 to maybe till 2023. Okay. I used all this information and I created a vector space from this data. And now I'm asking it a question about maybe what is happening today in the India. For an example, today, if I have to talk about a few ongoing crises, would be E20, the petrol problem, right? That we are using ethanol. So if I ask about this, this is a news that was never used to train this model. Okay, so the model will not be able to answer it. Why? Because large language models, they will only be able to answer things on which they are trained on. Okay, this ethanol topic was never taught to this large language model. So what we'll have to do is we will have to supply additional information to this model before it can help us answer it. So RAG is useful when we have to put custom knowledge, private knowledge, maybe a knowledge about how things work in my company. This might not be available. This is a private data. This might not be able to the any paid or non-paid API because this is my private data. So RAG is useful when I have to teach a model to answer questions related to my personal data or maybe latest data such as news articles. Okay, so this is important, and this is where RAG is all about. Okay, yeah, cool. Now, with that being said, let us move out. What exactly does it mean by document intelligence? So I just quickly recap this thing, that it is all about that you have any sort of documentation which is a part of a RAG itself, that you have any documentation. You just need to make it into a vector space so that your large language model can now uh, understand that knowledge base, give answers on top of it, maybe do summarizations, text extractions, or summarizations, and maybe do some complex tasks around it, reasoning tasks around it. Okay, that's what document intelligence is all about. Now, I'll give you some examples I've already given you. One would be invoice receipt extractions. Maybe I just need to understand when was the receipt number 103355. This could be a receipt number. When was it published? I can use it. Healthcare could be used to find what are the current medications that I'm giving to this patient. Okay, uh, any sort of it. It could be research papers. I can give 10-20 research papers and ask questions around it. I can ask questions around my documents. Okay, I can do reasoning around it, compliance around it. A lot of things that can be done. Now, with that being said, let us now start to think about our environment, how we are going to set up this environment. Okay, so first of all, in Jupyter Notebook, if you have to install anything, for example, I'm using data class, I'm using typing, I'm using hashlib as modules. If any of these modules are not available, you simply need to do pip install. This will quickly do the installation. For example, suppose if we will be using .env. Now we will be using .env to store the private keys. For example, if I have to store Gemini API key over here, okay, so I will just give it maybe this could be a random Gemini API key. Okay, so if I have to store this value right over here, I can store it. Remember, you'll have to call it .env, okay, and not exactly underscore sample. This is just to explain you, because I cannot give you .env file. It contains the paid API which I'm using. Anyways, Gemini is free for all of you. You can just simply go to the AI gemini.google.com and create your own API key quickly. It is so simple, it's so straightforward. You will simply be able to just need to log in using your Gmail, go to the Gemini API key and just get it generated and paste that value right over here. Okay, that's all you will need. Remember, the file name is .env. Okay, so can you do the project in these 3-day sessions? I'll try my best, Shubham, but I think I will be able to cover this project with all of you. Okay, so with that being said, the idea is that for module 1, you just need to quickly import these libraries right over here. Okay, so It is all set, all done for you. Okay, you just need to make sure that if there is any trouble running this code, just use pip install. Let me just quickly run this module. Okay, now before we run, make sure your IDE is using the correct environment. I have set it right over here. Okay, I am using document AI. This is the name of my Python environment. If you're using python dash make venv, it might be .env for you. Okay, since I'm using UV, this is the name of my virtual environment right over here. Now let me import everything and let me confirm. Okay, Python is 3.12. It is running fine. Module 1 setup is completed. You do not need any external API to run this module 1 at least. Okay, this is just to explain you end to end hone kya wala hai. Then maybe module 2, module 3 we will add few things. Day 2 we will add more things. Day 3 we will finish the project. Okay. So one optional configuration is what I was just explaining you is that you need a Google API key, okay? And the idea is that you can load it in from .env. So from .env load env and just run this to 2 lines. Your variables in the .env will be loaded, and if it works fine, you should get this as an output that Gemini key detected, all good to go. Even if not, that's not a problem. Not for now. Okay, you might not need Gemini to begin with. Now I have given you enough idea about these tools, what they're all about. So LangChain is useful to build RAG agents, pipelines related to LLMs. Okay, maybe document extraction, chunking, retrieving. I'll talk about these things in a while. Gemini is our LLM. Fairs is again vector database. Tesseract OCR is just one way to run OCR. Okay, it is a library that does OCR for us. Okay, it often uses py-mu-pdf library, so make sure you have it installed. If not, I think installation covers it. So with that being said, what are the things that we're covering this demo? So we will create a function known as load source. What does that function do? It simulates loading a document. Okay. For now, we will not be using a real document, at least in module 1. Module 2, module 3, we're covering in today's class only. Do not worry. So in module 2, I'll later on add a support to load the document. But for now, I'll complete end to end. Starts like end that I'll explain you what the entire project is. Then small pieces, maybe we'll keep on adding more code into it. Okay. Parse text, what it will do is it will just simply parse things. Okay, there's no real operation happening here. Chunk text kya karega? So let us understand this one thing. Okay, suppose I read a 1,000-page PDF or a 100-page or a 10-page PDF. Okay, even a single page PDF. Why not? The point is that I need to decide that at what point do I create small chunks out of it. Okay, because either I can see at a level I can create one single chunk. पूरा का पूरा document को एक single chunk मान लेते हैं. This is just one single entire component, which is one piece that I'm storing in database. But the point is, what we have realized is that each paragraph has its unique contribution to the documentation, right? So why not chunk it at paragraph level? Why not chunk it at sentence level? Suppose if I have a document where the maybe the details are in pointers, okay, then it makes sense to keep each sentence as a separate chunk. But if I have a document which has different paragraphs and each paragraph has a different meaning into it, maybe I'm talking about a news article, a newspaper to begin with. What if I need to create chunks from a newspaper? Then the idea is maybe just look into a heading, and then the paragraph it follows, maybe create a chunk out of it. Okay, maybe separate each paragraph as a chunk, or maybe use more techniques. So we will not waste thoughts on how do we chunk things, but I'll just give you what chunking is all about. Okay, there are different ways to chunk it, but yes, most common one is sentence splitter, which uses full stop to create a chunk, or a paragraph splitter, or semantic splitter to actually use maybe another LLM to decide when to start and when to stop, and this is a small chunk out of the document. Okay, so please share the code. Yes, I'm telling you, I just give you once again that code will be available not today, but tomorrow at the start of the session you will have it. I'll create a Git repository out of it. I'm still writing code for day 2, day 3. Okay, these are all handwritten codes. Okay, each of this file is self-proprietary. You will not find it on the internet. So let me just write down the code correctly. Once I've done it, I might finish the code by tomorrow evening. I'll give everything to you, okay, as a Git repository. So rest assured, everyone, people, stay tuned. By tomorrow in the live lecture, I will give you the Git repository. Okay. Next thing is embedded stubbing. So embeddings are nothing but that vector spaces that I talked about. In the vector space, we need to create these embeddings, okay, which we will store it. Uh, for now, we will simply use a hash trick, which is the most fundamental way to create embeddings. Later on, you will use any embedding model such as OpenAI or ADA model or maybe Gemini model or any other open source model through which you can create embeddings. Okay. So let us start off with the very first thing. If you understand, I am using @data class decorator over here to create a pipeline context. Let me quickly scroll up a little bit, okay, just to explain you that I'm using data class library, okay. So if you all quickly pay attention over here, so data class is it is a module. It provides decorators and functions for automatically doing many things. Like for example, when I declare @data class, any class in Python, if I am declaring it with @data class as a decorator, it does few things for me. It automatically adds modules like init or reper or any other defined methods. It will automatically declare it for me. Okay, it will do it for me. And this is mostly used, this decorator or this library is mostly used when I need to create a skeleton of something, okay, where I will create a JSON structure or maybe any structure. If I have to create, I can create it using any class, something like this, okay. Whereas field is again a special function used to customize individual fields, okay. uh, it can also help you provide a default value. It's just a different way of coding and cleaner way of coding in Python, okay. Nothing fancy about it. So if I'm using a class decorator above any class name, it just simply tells it that it is, maybe for me, how it makes sense is that I'm going to explain a structure, okay. So again, this structure is not something that is rigid. It is completely your creativity, okay. It is what your requirements actually tell you. So if I'm uploading a PDF, what I'm thinking is it might obviously have a name of the PDF, file name, some metadata around it, okay. The text it might have and size of the thing, maybe I'll create chunks out of it, I'll create vectors out of it, I'll create indexings to store it. I'll also create some events which will be logged, okay. So all these things are mentioned over here, okay. Now remember, since I'm creating a class as a decorator, I have things like optional. What does this mean is that it's not necessary for me to know the name, okay. It is optional. If it's not given, simply keep it none, okay. But if it is given, then it should be a string or a byte or a string. I'm declaring that, okay. Metadata could be, again, it has to be a dictionary and it has a default value which I'm passing it into the field, okay. Remember, I told you field is a method which can be used to pass a default value. Default is an empty dictionary. That's what we will do. Text is again optional. It could be none, okay. Chunks, again, it should be a list of dictionaries, okay. This is what I'm explaining over here. For people trying to understand the Python syntax in my code, remember, list I'm declaring, in the list I'm declaring a dictionary. In dictionary I'm writing the keys could be string and the value could be any. Now where are these variables coming from? If you scroll up again into my library imports, you will realize I'm using typing module, okay. So this line has several types, okay, such as any. What does any do? It represents any possible value. A DICT, dictionary. What does it do? It represents a dictionary, okay. So the syntax is right below that I showed you. DICT, round bracket open, key ka data type kya hai, and value data type kya hai, that you can pass over there. Again, list of and then the data type, okay. So what we're doing right over here is we are just simply declaring list, okay. Again, this is not your Python reserved keyword. Now it is typing library ka reserved keyword. So in it, it requires the default value. The default value is dictionary. That's what we are mentioning over here. I'll just show you how to declare it is. You type list list and maybe it is a string, okay. Maybe it is a float. So you need to just simply type the data value of what it is going to have right over there, okay. So that's what we have done. Our list will contain dictionary, and in dictionary, what is the data type? Keys will be string, and the values could be anything. It could be a string, it could be a float, it could be an array, something like that. Okay, and we are passing it right over here, even for the embeddings and for events and logs. Okay, all right. All right. Now, with that being said, let us understand what are log events. So remember, I have created a class, okay, a class which stores all the structure of what I need. Whereas I have to log an event, I will take a timestamp I'll take the value of step, what it is supposed to be, and in detail, I'll pass some dictionaries around it. Okay, this is just a simple function that I'm creating for my own personal logging. Remember, it has to do nothing with the program to work. Okay, this is just a good habit that I want to give you. You can log your events. Okay, run step is nothing but what it does is at each step in the pipeline could be reading the document, could be creating chunks in the document, could be creating vectors in the document. At each step it will check the time, it will run through the keys. Okay, it will run through the pipeline, it will find how much time is elapsed to run it, then it will log in the event, it will pass the pipeline name, it will give the function name, and it will give the elapsed time, and we will simply log it. Okay, so our running step will log everything and do the task for us. Okay, so run step will run the pipeline. So let me just run this code right over here. The first step, now what we will need is, remember, before even go to the first step, remember I just created a structure. Pipeline context is a structure in which we will use this class. Okay, we will create this class to store the text, to store chunks, to store vectors. Text kya hai? It is string data type. Chunks, it is a list of dictionaries. Vector is a list of floats. Okay, something like that. And indexing is nothing but a dictionary, and again, events is nothing but list of dictionaries. So remember, we will be using this class with its class variables or class functions to do the things. This is all about it. Now, if you have any doubts still here, if you have any difficulty following this, do let me know. Okay. Let us talk about the load source. So in real pipelines, what will happen is we will read a file from disk. Okay, it could be cloud storage, could be AWS, or could be REST API, or anything from where we will read the source. But in this example, I'm simply writing down a sample right over here. Okay, this sample is used as an input, but in reality, this will be coming from somewhere. And remember, load source is taking the pipeline context as an input, okay, which is our class. And in class, now I need not explain source name, text, and metadata. These are inbuilt declared variable names, okay, or the attributes. So maybe we'll give it a simple file name. What is the text? We will pass this sample, right? Declared right over here. Metadata, it is a contract type. Business, it is legal. It could be anything, right? Even in our class, we declare it could be a dictionary. Okay, we didn't declare the structure of the dictionary. We kept it optional and we kept it flexible. It could have different type of key values, but it is fine. This is our metadata. Then we will simply log this event. What has happened is that we are using load source, and load source ke andar, this is the things that we are passing in because it needs their things, and we will just log this event. Okay, so once I run this, you will realize that okay, we have loaded something into our document, which is still remember people, which is still at this raw source point. Okay, because we just declared source name, bytes, and things. Okay, nothing more than that. Let us move a little bit ahead. Now we will go for parse text. In model 2, we will use real parsers. I told you it could be PIMO PDF for PDFs or OCRs, things like that. Here, what we will do is we will simply use an already parsed text. Okay, so remember, this is a placeholder. I'll quickly go to the model 2 and we'll talk about how we parse text. We will just simply skip this function for now. We will just simply log it, but we will log it, okay, even for now. Next is how to chunk the text. So we will split the text into small chunks. I just explained you a while ago what chunks mean. Chunks are dividing your document into small form of meaningful information, okay, such that each chunk is information in itself. Okay, remember the entire document will have a lot of information, but suppose I'll give you an example. Suppose there's a document of recipe, okay, a document of recipe on how to create maybe any food, maybe let us say how to create a maybe Mediterranean salad. Okay, now if I'm asking like when do I add cheese into it, or when do I add broccoli into it? Okay, if I'm asking things like that, or how do I make pizza? So the pizza could start from even kneading the dough to creating the base to putting sauces onto it and putting stuffing into it and then baking it. I could have a small question: at what temperature should I set my oven at? Okay, so I need not read through the entire PDF. There could be one two or three lines, two or three lines, which can answer this question, okay, in the document. So we need to make sure that our chunks are small enough that each chunk will have a meaningful answer to it, okay. We don't need to read the entire document. We just need two lines, that what is the temperature to be set in the oven to make pizza. That's where the idea of smart chunking comes into picture. And trust me, the heart of RAG is chunking. The better your chunking strategy, the better will be your RAG performance. Okay, so this is not at all an easy peasy task to do. It requires a lot of thinking, lot of talent, and a lot of creativity in order to realize what is the sweet spot for your particular use case, where chunks really turn out well for you, such that your chunks are small enough and yet meaningful and not distributed against each other. Okay, so for now we will simply create chunks at a random interval. Okay, just we will count 120 characters and we will cut it. Okay, now remember I told you that suppose if I'm reading a transcript that hi hello how are you doing. So if I just cut this at hi hello how, suppose I cut it at a length of 3, what does this sentence make sense? Okay, so sometimes in chunking there could be problems like this, that we might end up cutting a sentence into two pieces. कहीं से start करेंगे and we will cut it somewhere. Okay, and maybe where we are cutting it, we are actually destroying a sentence somewhere, which is where we take an overlap. In the first chunk, suppose if we are cutting on the 120th interval, we'll actually cut it at 150th interval and call it one chunk. And the other chunk, we will start it 30 words before it. So the start will also have overlap. This is how chunking will work. Okay. So Bhakti says understood. And so I'll just quickly hit this method. We are good to go. Next thing is we will create embeddings. So remember, again, we will need a good model like Gemini or OpenAI or sentence transformers. For now, I'll simply use a ready-made hash trick embedding method. Okay, need not put a lot of head. Hashlib is the library which is used, and this is a simple line of code. It is a code even I have copied from somewhere on the Google. You need not worry how this algorithm works. Even I need not worry about how this algorithm works. We just need to put a dummy example of how do we create vectors. Okay, and this should work for you. So this will simply create a vector space for you, not the vector space but the vectors, the idea of creating your simple NLP text, the natural text into vectors. Okay, that's the idea. Now the idea is that now we need to create indexing for each vector. Remember that if I convert a word like hello into 13741, I also need an index to convert this word back to hello also, right? Because my text is being converted into numbers for computer. Even computer's output should be converted back to text for me. So indexing will help us simply create that. Okay, now we will be using and it will also be used for maybe searching around in the vector space and many much examples around it. Okay, here we will simply create a simple dummy example. You need not worry about this code. Okay, you need not at all worry about it. We will see how we use fairs in the later steps. Okay, so for now this is the entire project of starting from taking up a document and then converting it into vector spaces. Now, just to summarize all of this, this is your pipeline. See, CTX is the context variable which I'm declaring, which represents your library name. Okay, this is sorry, the class name. So this is object of the class. For name and function in this part, we will simply run at each step. Okay, so we will step by step run. What we will run, we will first run load source, then we will run parse text, then chunk, and so on. Okay, and in each of that part, we will print what are the chunks created, and for chunks set, we will simply just type out some examples right in front of you. You will realize that everything is done in zero point 0.0 milliseconds because there's not much to be processed, small amount of document. But if you realize, creating embedding did take 33.5 milliseconds, even for these 4 5 lines. So remember that a good algorithm would take some decent time to create chunks out of it. And our algorithm created 4 chunks out of our input. What was our input once again? Our input was right over here, which is this master service agreement. What is the scope, termination, confidentiality, and liability documents into it. Okay, so with this being said, the idea is we have vectors created out of it, not just vectors, chunks for now. Okay, and these are the chunks created. Now, suppose you have to run query around it. Suppose if I have to ask a question about termination notice or maybe confidentiality, we can simply use vector search to find related chunks. So termination notice, what vectors do match it? So liability and confidentiality. These are the two chunks which match in our vector space to this query. Okay, so you will realize for each query we have a score match. How much does it match? We see termination notice matches a lot with liability, more than 54% match. Whereas this is the way things are matching for different things right over here, right? Indirect damages do have a lesser match, but we found some matches for it around it. Now, this is just a log event. Log event does nothing but gives you a log of what is happening around your code. Okay. Okay. Now, Piyush, what I will do is just before I close this lecture, I will pass down this notes to you. Okay, you will have to be just a little patient. Give me some time. I'll quickly create a Git repository and pass down these notes to you. Okay, these notes are all for you, nothing for me. Let us quickly jump to module 2 and then let us revisit this entire code. Remember, people who are worried that it is too much to digest, don't worry. Module 2 and module 3 are same code. We will just revisit it again and again with some modifications into it. Now, see, objectives are now we will be using PyMu PDF. Okay, so to do that, this is the command that I've run. I did not run it anymore. Let me put it everything in the comments. Okay, uh, but you need to run it for fresh installation. Okay, because first time you'll have to install these libraries. Uh, you need to also install Pytaset for OCR, PyMu PDF for the text part. Once you're done with it, Fits is the library name that we will use for PyMu PDF. TQDM is again one library. Let me see. Yes, TQDM I have mentioned right over here. So all the installations have been mentioned. You simply need to run this library, this cell. You should check and get this output. See, if you have done everything correctly, you should get PyMu PDF version over here and OCR available as true. Okay, if these things are working fine, your installation is all good to go. Okay, so I really like to do a confirmation check before proceeding ahead to maybe have a better head start. Okay, so this printing statements will confirm everything is working fine for you. Okay, so what is the configuration we need to do now? Okay, we will create one folder by the name of input directory, which is in this data module. You see, I've created one folder by the name of data. Okay, in the data I've created a folder by the name of PDFs, which is where I did a random Google search. Okay, in fact I wasted 10-15 minutes to find a PDF, but finally I found a PDF. Okay, which is from Science Journal or some type of research paper I found. Okay, for HVAC, heat ventilation, any random example. You can use any PDF. If you want, I can also give you this PDF in the Git repository. I'll give this to you. You need to create a folder with the name of PDFs. So whatever PDFs you have here, this will be our input, the knowledge source. Okay, output directory. Where do you want to store the outputs? If you see, this is the output directory, and I am storing all chunks right over here. Okay, I'll walk you through this code, how we are doing it. Then we will simply create the directories if they don't exist. Okay, but if they do exist, it will not create the directories again and again. Uh, this is where we are doing all our settings of the code. Okay, remember when we start the car or any machine, there are certain knobs through which we can set things. So these are those knobs. Okay, AC कितने पे रखना है, blower कितने पे रखना है, windows up and down. Okay, seat positions of the car, whatever we are doing setting, we are doing right over here. We have to do chunks. So how many characters do we need to use? Maximum 1200 characters where there should be a cap on this. Cut it and consider it as a one chunk. How much overlap? 200 characters ka overlap. This is something that you can play around. You can change it to 250, you can change it to 100. This is your playground. You can play with these settings. Okay, now if there are any header footers available, again I'm just making code more complex. In real world you might need to handle header and footers. We will simply just detect it and eliminate it. Okay, so we have run it. Now what we will do is we need to write some utility functions. Utility functions are the functions which will be useful to uh, run through it. Okay, so will you provide those documents? Yes, Sheikh Fayaz, I'll not only provide you documents, I'll completely provide you the entire project. This entire project is yours. Okay, I'll give everything to you. Just have patience. I think if you give me time till tomorrow, because I'm still writing code for you people, right? See, taking a lecture for 1.5 hours is just the story of the stage. Behind the stage, I have to put at least 5 to 8 hours to write this project on my own. Okay, so I am still in the way of it. I've completed this project 50-60%. Maybe by tomorrow I will complete it. So I'll give you everything in a Git repository. So with that being said, let us talk about a certain utility function that we might need. One is to save JSON, another is to load the JSON. Okay. So save JSON, what it does is, remember, it takes input as records, okay, and output as the path. So what it takes is, if at all the path is not present, it will make it. If it is present, it will open the path, and for all the records in it, it will write into the file. And that's what save is all about. What is load? Opposite of it. Rather than writing it, it will load it with R. So W stands for writing, R stands for reading. Okay, and for line by line, we will read it and we will return the read items. Okay, estimate token from characters. We will estimate the token size, and text hash is nothing but we will use it to convert from hash to text to hash. Okay, this is certain utilities that we might need. Okay, which is nothing but converting your text to embeddings and embeddings back to text. Now, let us build a table of content. Okay, so PyMove PDF has a method known as getPOC. It returns the title, the page numbers, and the level of this PDF. Okay, so we convert it to a page index map. What this library do? Yeah, PyMove PDF, what it does is it will help us understand how many pages, how many header footers, and the contents are there. Okay, we will simply get a document from it. The input is also very simple. Input is what? What is the input to this function? Input is nothing but the document itself. For people who are wondering or scratching head, what does this a dash and a greater than less than symbol or this arrow mean? So in Python, if you are not aware, this is a way to write what the output of this function will be. What does this function return? Let me just quickly write down something like this. Okay, so if I create a function, define say hello, okay, and it takes nothing as the input. It just simply does printing. So what it is doing, it is returning none. So I'll simply say it is returning none. Okay, but what if I'm creating a function by the name of say addition? Okay, addition. It takes maybe variable one and variable two. Okay, and then it returns what? It returns integer. It was supposed to return, or could be a float. Okay, so we can simply write that value right over here, and now we will say, sorry, now we will say return v1 plus v2. Okay, so this is what this dash and the arrow mean. It explains to the developer. This is for people like us to read and then make better sense. Okay, this function is all about returning a float. Okay, so when I'm reading a code, this will help me understand, okay, this function is all about returning a dictionary of integer followed by a dictionary to it, like creating a map, first page, second page, third page, something like that. Okay, this is nothing but building a table of content. Whenever you open a PDF, you already have a table of content, right? So we are just digitally creating it for us. Page number one pe kya hai, page number two pe kya hai, and we will run through it. We will advance through it. Okay. On each page, we will try to find what is the section path, what is the section title, and such that we will create a map of this document for us. Okay. This is what this function is supposed to do. So when I run it, good to go. Now we will extract page text. So we will use page.getText. Remember I told you in the previous thing we were using a mock function. Now we are using PyMove PDF itself. Okay. So in PyMove PDF again, remember what was the input right over here to build the table of content? It was a document itself. Okay. Now to extract text, it is page number. Okay, so by this time, if you are good with Python, you will have an idea how we will be doing it. For each page, we will be calling this function extract page text. Okay, and for each page text, how do we get text? So PyMove PDF uses dot get underscore text as a built-in method. Okay, and what we need text out of it. Okay, and if you do not get it, let it be an empty thing. Okay, so page dot get text is where we will get it. If it is scanned, which means that if at all it detects the PDF is not an text readable PDF but an image PDF, we'll do it. For now, we'll skip it. Okay. If no text but images likely scanned, we will simply skip it But if not, we might try it, else we will throw an error, but we will get the text out of it. Okay. So for any fallback, this is optional. This is completely optional. I'm not telling you to go ahead and build a OCR model also, but if you want, we can create an OCR model also for anything which was, you can say, like a OCR page. We can run through this method also to extract the images out of it. Okay. So in Python PDF, we have a method known as fits.metrics and get pixel map, and image is again a method in the library of PIL from where we can get the image, and image to string is where OCR will come into picture. Now remember, we used this to import the OCR module byte asset and to run it through, right? Okay. Now, Piyusha is saying that why we are just reading through the theory. The point is, this is a big project. It could take up at least around, I'll say, 7 to 8 working classes, and this is a very premium project. Okay, to cover it in a span of just 3 4 hours, this was the best I could think of. Okay, usually I do live coding, but I couldn't convince myself to write so much of code and also to keep on explaining these things and cover it up. If you see, we are already at 7:40 p.m. and I'm still trying to cover my agenda. Okay, so bear with me, people. My focus is to give you more clean, usable code so that you people have enough comments, enough markdown cells to read what I'm doing, and enough guidance through this video to run this code on your own. Okay, that's the idea. And this is not just theory. This is literally code blocks that I'm running through that you will need. Okay. Again, collections is again a library which is used to do many things. Maybe count things. Okay, so we have a counter from it, and to detect a header footer, again, this is completely optional, people. You can skip this part. What I'm doing is I'm getting the first and the last line of the page, and I'm detecting any header and footers, and I'm just stripping it out. Okay, so these three functions are nothing but get the first and the last line, detect any repeated header and footers, because remember, if there are headers and footers in the document, on each page the first and the last line will be same, because headers will be same on each page, footers will be page on the same page. If they are same, we'll simply just delete them or exclude them. Okay, so this is nothing but our model of doing it. Now, what we'll do is, remember over here, we will split the sentence on question mark, exclamation, and question mark. So if you are good with regex, you will realize this is where I'm putting things into it. Okay, that question mark, exclamation, things like this are coming up, which means this is where we will detect, okay, this is a sentence that we have found. Or if it is a paragraph, we will find slash n followed by a string and then more than one slash n. Okay, so this is where we will find a paragraph and a sentence split. Remember, this is again our handwritten logic. If at all there are some other characteristics in the documents that you're solving, maybe something else, maybe a forward slash, maybe a full colon that explains that sentence has finished, you will simply need to add it over here. Okay, maybe like a full colon works for you, maybe a slash works for you, maybe a percentage works for you. You need to add that to let the regular expression know where your sentence is ending. Okay, and why do we do that? Because we need to split the chunks on sentence level. Okay, so we are splitting things into paragraph level. We need to run this code. What does it do? It remember, we created a para split method. From it, we'll try to find paragraph in the given text, and for each paragraph it will start to create a chunk, and if chunk is created, it will append it into the spans list, and once it is done, it will return the spans list. Okay, so Bharati is asking, is this code bootcamp for beginners or pro coders? Well, I will say this is for intermediates or beginners who are good with Python, who are having a little bit idea about what Gen AI is all about. Okay, so there are two ways that you can absorb this lecturing. One, if you're an intermediate developer, this could be your direct challenge to consume this project, run it on your own, understand it, learn from it, and put it on your resume that hey, this is what I have done with Gen AI. Secondly, if you are a complete beginner, if you are here to understand few things, you should pay attention to what I'm speaking. Okay, it's not always important that you understand how the code works. It is also important to understand what a developer has done over here. Okay, You can just try to make sense of what a function name is. Just try to get acquainted. Acha, what is LangChain used about? What is OCR used for? Or how is this technology working? If you can just even absorb that part, it would be good enough for you as a fresher. Okay, there are different ways that you can absorb this session in. Okay. Okay, so with that being said, I think the idea is this is how we will split things into paragraphs, and then we will create a hierarchy out of it. Okay, again, this part of the code is pretty straightforward. I'll leave it for people who are more interested to understand how chunks are working. But for now, the idea is pretty simple over here. Okay, we are simply running it through the entire text, and we are building chunks out of it. Okay. Now, this is the end-to-end part from where you will take up a PDF, create chunks out of it, okay? And we will also map it into what is the starting character and the ending character and what is the text. This is what our final chunk will be all about, okay? Now, this is just the complete logic and how we are adding different paragraphs from the chunk. It could be even much more simpler, I have broken down this text to a level where it is pure programming. You can use many simple packages. Like if you will use LangChain, you can use just with 2 lines, you can complete this cover code. You need not even worry about it. I've given you this code to explain you the breakdown, the minimum level of coding which is needed to create a chunk. But if you want, you can simply use LangChain, a module. It will give you just 2 lines, dot get chunk, pass it the text, it will give you chunks in return. Okay, that's the idea. So read through this for the people who are more interested into getting this theory along with the logic. You will have this function with you, and this is how the end-to-end way of working with PDFs will work. Okay. Now beyond this, do not worry. जो पिछले module में पढ़ा था, same things over here. Okay. We are just creating a data class of PDF ingestion just to store things correctly. Okay. How many total pages were there? How many were scanned? How many chunks we got? What is the average chunk size? What is the duration of this? Okay, and we'll create a method known as ingest PDF. Ingest PDF, what it will do is it will take a path. PDF lagana hai, okay, from where do we put it? Okay, what is the document ID, maximum characters, metadata. And if you see, if you remember, or if you want, in Python, suppose if you need any mandatory argument in a function, you just simply need to put the variable name and what it is. But if you put a default value in front of it, for example, is equal to none, is equal to max characters or something like this, it automatically makes it optional. So even if I tomorrow go ahead and not use this, not pass these variables at all, completely fine. My function will still work. But these are any additional information that we might still need, okay? And remember what I meant by this arrow? It is explaining us what this function will return. It will return us a tuple, which will contain list of dictionaries, okay? And this variable, okay? This will be what it will be returning. Now we will start off the timer. We will read the path. From the path, if there is any document ID or the chunks out, we will create an empty variable for now, okay? We will, using fits, we will open this path. Remember I told you we created a function to build a table of content. We will build a table of content. For each page, we will run through it. And I told you for each page, we will be calling extract page text. Now from each page text, if the response is, hey, this was scanned, okay, and or maybe OCR scanned, then we will run the OCR model and we'll try to extract text from the OCR. But if it wasn't, this extract page would give us text in return, and we'll simply add it. Okay, we'll also put it as a flag. Remember, this is just a you can say logging practice that I just need to understand from my code how many were scanned PDFs, how many were scanned pages. It's just logging practice I'll do. Okay. Now once this is done, I'll also detect header and footers if there were my header and footer program. I told you this is optional, people. So people, if this is a little complex, you can completely delete this method, remove these lines, do not use it. But just to give you a little idea that real world is more challenging. Okay, so we might also need to remove header and footers, and we might simply do it right by this method that we have created. How this method works, I also explained you. We check first on the last line, same hai, detect a header, we just remove it. Okay. Now, with that being said, then we will simply run through the text and scan things, we'll enumerate it. We'll clean the text by removing header and footers. We'll create a hierarchy out of it. We'll create a table of content. And for it, we will create a record of each chunk. For each chunk, we will give it an ID, what text it had, some metadata into it, and we will simply append everything into our list. And once we are done with it, we will say what was our final time, number of characters we did, some statistics, how many pages we did, how many were scanned, how many were this. Done, we will return from this method. Okay, so this is the entire end-to-end PDF injection, you can say, method that we have declared over here. Again, for multiple PDFs, you can just simply you can just simply give it multiple input paths. Okay, and things remain same. What you need to do is, in the same PDFs folder, you can pass multiple PDFs. This multiple PDFs would work exactly the same. Okay, but there's one mini task that I would like to give to you today. Okay, you can try to place a longer PDF. Okay, run this pipeline, save chunks into our and inspect few of them. Okay, this is something that I want you to do. Okay, and run this cell to make sure that you have at least one PDF, because running this will run the entire code. And once you run it, you will realize that we wrote 113 chunks from one document, and this is the data. See how detailed is the output, and this is really professional people. In production level, you might need something like this, and this is the output of it. I also created a helper function where you can simply find some chunks, print the first 5 chunks, and see what is the chunk available to us. Remember, I used a real world PDF, so this is what the output is. Okay, and I can just simply read through it, which is where I can understand as a data scientist or as a AI developer, okay, how good my chunks are. Do I need to do something around it or not? Okay, so this is about it. Maybe you can give me your ideas tomorrow that what worked for you, what not. But before you go, as I mentioned, right, let me give you these files so that you can run it. So bear with me for 2-3 minutes. Let me quickly create a Git repository. Meanwhile, okay, people, if you have any doubts in the session, you can ask me. And trust me, do not worry, even if as a fresher you are thinking this is a bit too much on you to digest. Okay, take it as a fun class, take it as a way to just see what actual life of programmers is or what they really do. Okay, we get so many fun classes where things are like we create methods of maybe a simple calculator. Okay, but in reality we do a lot of different programming. Now, let me just go to my authenticator app. Let me open up my Git repository, quickly spin up a repository. Okay. Okay. I'll be meanwhile looking into the live chat. If there are any doubts you want to ask, I'll be more than happy to answer it. All right. I think many of you have become numb after what I just showed you. Okay. This is way too much for you to digest. Let me call it document AI. Okay. This name is available. I'll add description and everything later. I'll keep it public. I'll create a repository around it. I'll quickly git clone it. Just give me a minute, people. I'll open this folder. I'll do git clone. Let me rename this once. Okay. Okay. All right. I have cloned things into it. Let me copy everything from here into that repository. Can you get the IPynb file? Yes, I'm on it. Just give me 2-3 minutes, people. I'll just quickly create this repository and give it to you. Let's upgrade live classes. I just need to create a git ignore file and add .env and .env. All right, let me check git add git commit -n, adding the initial code, git push. Okay, let me check if things are loaded in the git repository. I just need to okay, git -- global user dot name. Okay. So I'll just pass on this link. What I will do is I will currently give you just the file. Okay, I'll give you the file through you can say Google Docs. You upload it, and I'll just check because currently my username and email ID are different over here. I'll have to set up the token, which can take some time, just 4-5 minutes more. But the idea is I'll just quickly share you this as a Git repo, as a Google Drive. Okay, I'll share it with others or anyone with the link. Okay, people, use it wisely. I'll share this with the moderator. Okay. This was for module 1. Let me do the same for module 2. Okay, I've changed the permissions. This should be delivered to all of you. Okay. Okay. Let us wait for the moderator to give you the this notebooks in the chat sessions. Okay. Okay. Any other question? All right. All good till here, right? Let us wait for the moderator to give you this notebooks. Okay, I think the links are shared. It might be available in the all-in-one documents. Well, people can just confirm and check if the links are available. If they are, then we are good to go. We can halt for now. All right. Thank you for joining in, people. Remember, day 2 will be more interesting. We will keep on learning more on top of this course. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. Tata. Sayonara.